Hey everyone, welcome to the IC PAX East Qualifiers. I'm Nick Axav, joined by Megan Zagnet-Bo. How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty awesome, per usual.
Yeah.
How about yourself?
I'm doing great.
Can I ask you first sometime?
Yes.
You always get
next
to ask
time.
me, and I feel really
Tomorrow.
impolite. Tomorrow?
Yeah.
All right. What if I'm not here tomorrow?
You'll be here.
Okay.
You'll be here. Of course, we'll talk about the exact tournament schedule a little bit later, and of course what's going on today. But first, for people who aren't as familiar with Infinite Crisis, why don't you give us a quick little rundown about exactly what the game is all about?
For sure. So Infinite Crisis is a 5v5 MOBA set in the DC universe. It's highly competitive, based around just being balanced and fun. There are in-game objectives that let you just basically blow up the world, no matter who you are, Green Lantern, Batman, the Joker. You can pick up cars, you can pick up meteors, throw them, create your own path, and it's just all about being, being the best at what you do, but also helping out your teammates. So for those of you who haven't heard, Infinite Crisis is finally opening its open beta, coming in March 14th. We've got 3 heroes that we're releasing all at once. So Aquaman, he's going to be a really neat blaster that has all these different abilities he can use with his ultimate. We're also coming out with Green Arrow, who's really exciting around this time. He's going to be the final marksman to join. I know you guys have all really, really wanted this marksman to be entering. And we also have Mecha Superman, who's a mechanical version of Superman that has a really tragic backstory that you should probably do some research on. So at PAX East, we're going to be having this 25K tournament for the pros and also a 5K amateur tournament that anybody, so that means you, can sign up for and have a chance to win. So the qualifiers for the tournament that we're doing right now for PAX East is going to give 2 open spots for people to contend against titans like Dignitas EU and Complexity. So if you want any part of this, you best come to PAX East and we'll see you there.
Free to play, 5-on-5 superheroes and supervillains, your favorite DC characters, all in Infinite Crisis. But now let's talk about the IC PAX East qualifiers. And of course, what this event is we're going to determine 2 teams that are going to qualify for the $25,000 prize pool tournament at PAX East. That's an amazing opportunity. The top 2 teams from this qualifier get an all-expenses-paid trip to Boston to compete at PAX East. And also, in addition to that, the team that wins this qualifier gets first instead of second. Get an extra $500 on top of that.
Yeah, I mean, $500 might not seem like that much, but for 25K, but it's kind of like a, you know what, you guys deserved it. Here you go.
Yeah. why don't we take a look at the 8 different teams that started in this tournament about a couple weeks ago when we first started this PAX East qualifier. You can see here, Kelevra Gaming. 3 different teams, so they definitely representing in force.
A little bit, yeah. They must have some sort of a skill in there somewhere, right? They just like put out all of their pawns, and they're like, one must succeed.
Well, it's working out for them pretty well so far. Also, you can see Absolute Legends, Vex Gaming, Templar Gaming, Reckless, and amongst a couple other teams there. Why don't we take a look at the bracket and see how things have progressed so far?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we can see there we're now in the winner bracket finals, where it's Kelevra Gaming Origins versus Kelevra Gaming Blight. So Kelevra Gaming so far, they have 2 of the 3 teams undefeated. Kelevra Gaming Syndicate, they did take that loss earlier to Kelevra Gaming Origins. And unfortunately, they were eliminated early on in the lower bracket as well. We can see here in the lower bracket, the 2 teams that have advanced this far are Field Team 6, along with Vex Gaming. So, for example, Absolute Legends, a team that I myself thought would do very well, they were taken out by Field Team 6 in the lower bracket. So,
yeah, so Field Team 6 must have some sort of secret power.
Yeah, I mean, they had an insanely close game. Was it Kelevra Gaming Origin or Blight that they played? I mean, it was just a super
There's so many KGs,
game.
man.
Yeah.
It's like tough. It makes it tough, but it's really interesting because though KGB and KGO were also the ones that were in the IC Winter Open, this KGB is an entirely new roster, as the old KGB is now Complexity, who will also be present. So if KGB actually gets the chance to win this, they will be the ones fighting the old KGB roster. So it will be former KGB members fighting the KGB peeps now. So I don't know what it is. Like maybe you just get on the team and you're just imbued with special Infinite Crisis powers.
Could be. Kelevra Gaming has definitely put something in their players' weedies to make them really strong. Why don't we take a look at the schedule for the upcoming week and see exactly what's going on throughout this week. And this is the point in tournament where every single match is super, super, super important. We're down to 4 teams from the original 8. Again, only 2 spots for the all expenses paid trip to PAX East. We can see over the rest of this week, we're going to see today the winner bracket finals. Then it's going to be the loser bracket semifinals, the loser bracket finals, and that grand final match. So today, the winner of today's match is going to be guaranteed a top 2 spot because it's going to be in the grand finals. That means The winner of this match will make it to PAX East, and then over the next couple days, we'll determine which team will join them, and then finally which team will get the first seed for a second, and an additional $500 for winning the qualifier as opposed to just coming in second.
Yeah, there's a huge weight on your shoulders. This is going to be a really big match, and I know both of them are probably pretty antsy getting ready to do this.
But why don't we take a look at the teams playing today? We can take a look at some of the rosters. We'll first take a look at Kelevra Gaming Blight. So you can see there, Kelevra Gaming Blight. Again, like you mentioned, a very different team than the one we saw in the IC Winter Open. That team went over to Complexity. Now they have a new team, but they're still doing really, really, really well. They've got a lot of crazy strong players. And if I'm trying to think of one of their players that really stuck out in the earlier games of this tournament, I don't know if there's a single player on a team who really carries the team. They all seem
I don't
so
think you can pick them up. I mean, I don't know if Yachi the captain is the one who actually picks out all of them or something, or if they kind of just all went in together and nominated him to be the captain. But we've seen them all individually perform really well. They have that same team synergy that they had elsewhere. Well, I should say the old KGB had that also awesome same team synergy. So it'll be interesting to see. I think each of the players have been pretty good at distinguishing themselves. You can't say that, just because the support is supporting, they're not as influential as the other ones. Yeah.
Why don't we take a look at their opponents, another team from Kelevra Gaming Origins. And, one of their players that I always remember is, I remember from the IC Winter Open, Ease was playing Shazam and just slamming everyone. Of course, there's been some changes to the game since then. Shazam, not really picked as often as he was back then. But I just remember his Shazam being insane. We saw G's, I think, was playing Atomic Poison Ivy in some of the earlier matches. Yeah. Doing a great job really locking champions down to make sure they could get some kills.
I think there's something about the whole KG peeps in general where they have that amazing team synergy, and they're really good at ganking. They're really good at keeping tabs on their lanes, and I think I don't know how it's going to be able to pit against one another. KGB and KGO both have so much strength in terms of managing objectives and managing their lanes that they're both going to be everywhere at the same time, and I think it's going to come down to the wire, and I expect that all of the fights between these players are going to be really, really close.
What's interesting to me is that KGO lost some of their, you could say, their roster was really reduced about a week before this event. A week before the qualifier started, excuse me. I think they lost African, and they were down to a 4-man roster. They picked up a couple people last second, but they've all been doing really well. Cripsy was one of their kind of last second pickups, but Cripsy's, I think he was playing Gas Cat, and he was just insanely scary Gas Cat.
Yeah, there's a lot of good players and, people that we actually haven't known for very long. So it's really awesome to see all these people come out of basically nowhere and just own. And it's where have these people been? Thankfully, now they have a chance to show everybody just how dang good they are at Infinite Crisis.
Well, why don't we jump into the game and see exactly which champions the teams pick and how they draft against each other. And we're going to find out which one of these two teams is going to go on to the grand finals of the tournament and be guaranteed a top 2 place in the all-expenses-paid trip to PAX East. All right, guys, here we are. We've got into the load screen here. We can see which champions these different teams are picking. Looks like KGB pseudo-style again with the fast Joker pick. This is exactly how their first match went against Templar Gaming Reckless, because they went Joker as their first pick, and then the other team, in that case Templar Gaming Reckless, in this case KGO, picked both the marksmen. And that was something we said might come back to haunt KGB, but that was the most convincing win we've had in this tournament, was with them having a no marksman team, and they're doing it yet again.
Yeah, and they had that. They don't have Poison Ivy Batman lane, so I'm wondering if it's going to be a Zatanna Batman lane, but it seems like Yechi is actually going to be taken to a lane, and Jules is going to be taken to the jungle on account of his detonate there. He's got Joker's detonate, but I don't know. It's weird. Maybe GS picked Poison Ivy early in the draft pick, and that kind of prevented them from doing that, but there's actually a fair amount of attack damage, as we can see over there on KGO's side.
Yeah, if you look at Poison Ivy, usually builds more will, more support. You can build attack damage, but typically not so much. So the other 4 champions, Nightmare Bat often builds a little tanky, but their 3 major damage dealers are going to be Cyborg, Gas Bat, and Catwoman. And all 3 of those are attack damage. So if you're on KGB's side, what are some key items you're looking to start purchasing in the mid-game to combat that very attack-heavy
Well, there's definitely many attack armor options for, you know, every single role. I'm assuming Pseudo-Style might go for something like Neuron's Contract, or even just a little bit of health from Cosmic Belt. The same thing could go for Zatanna, though he might want to go for some Metallo's Heart because it'll give him will and attack armor, and it will give him the dampening aura that will reduce the attack speed of all of them. Batman or Doomsday, perhaps with Claw of Horus or a Fragment of Mogo, anything like that. It's simple to counter build for attack damage champions, but that doesn't mean that they can't counter builds by building, you know, Coda Blades for the attack penetration.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What would you think if all 3 of their melee champions, if we had Yechi, Chow, and Drools, all go for Pseudo-Sorrows and max it out, and get they all have such insane attack reflection that wouldn't the other team kill themselves?
So it's not like attack reflection stacks when other people are buying it, so it's a flat amount.
I mean, but it means whoever they attack, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like Robin's really the only one who can reach a high amount of attack reflect when he uses his
W. Yeah,
so,
he spins that bow staff around.
I don't think that anybody can reach such a devastating amount of attack reflex that it would like literally make you kill yourself when killing somebody. And I think that by all building Suit of Sorrows, you might kind of pigeonhole yourself and not even be able to deal enough damage to bring them down. As somebody like Cyborg, he has the proc from his passive that's going to deal max health, and it's going to just completely ignore that. You know what I mean? So it's probably not the best decision to just go straight attack armor, but I don't expect they will, actually. I think Suit of Sorrows is probably one of the least purchased armor artifacts.
Such a cool name, though.
It is.
All right, looks like we may have some engagements here in the middle. All the teams going to set up their surveillance cameras here. And if someone grabs an early kill, that's a big deal. Oh, Cripsy in the front. You do not want your Joker, or your Cyborg, excuse me, in the front. And that is why, because Cyborg can go down so fast.
What is with these cyborgs? Like, these cyborgs get down so fast. I don't know. It's maybe metal. Maybe the metal people just are like, yeah, let's kill that guy.
Could be.
Scrap him for parts, sell him for some credits.
That's what I would do. Also, Cyborg is just if we're talking about level 1 champions, his basic attack, and especially with his, you know, is scary. So if you can take him out first, of course you're going to do that.
Yeah, I mean, so Yechi is already, you know, 100 credits above every single person. The whole team gets a share of the credits, so Yechi is probably the most innocuous person that you can give it to in terms of credits, just because Atomic Poison Ivy does not scale well in terms of damage. But that's going to probably help Yechi ease through that jungle, and it's not going to be too good for KGO, but you know, it just started, so it could have been like, well, and now they're on the extra defensive just to make sure that something like that doesn't happen again.
See, both teams have pretty much warded up a good chunk of that jungle, making sure they know exactly if anyone's trying to ambush them from behind. You know, at the bottom, we have Cripsy with G's, Poison Ivy, and Cyborg. That's a pretty scary lane to go up against.
That's actually a horrifying lane. And who's going to be their competition? Solo lane Joker, it seems. So Batman decided, well, I don't have Poison Ivy Prime, so I guess I'll have Atomic Poison Ivy.
Yeah,
Is that what's happening? Or is that actually a dual jungle with Atomic?
No, I don't think she's jungling.
Okay.
She's trying to find an angle. And then, I mean, Gaspat's at half-life. If Atomic Poison Ivy can slow him down a bit, Batman Prime might be able to finish him off. There goes Invulnerability. Someone's going down here. It will be Ease or will it be Chow? It's Chow going down first, but I think Ease may follow him soon. Yechi, what skill did Yechi go first?
He went for Bramble Rapture, I think.
So, I mean, that should kill as soon as it's up, right?
Yep. Oh,
or
but
it's
Zatanna might get that kill. Jokers!
One of them's going to get it. Got a little bit of a glitch going off, people. Going a little crazy here.
Woo, running two!
Look at this!
Woo!
Madness! They're all going everywhere.
Woo!
And,
Internet!
I think we got a little bit of an error here, but we're going to try to get this set up and fixed.
This is not working as intended.
Guys.
For the record.
They're all having a peace treaty right here.
Look at
them,
them, look at them on the mini map. They're going.
Let's not fight. Let's all have a little bit of a peace treaty and deal with things on that front. But what we're gonna do is we're just gonna try to get the game fixed as soon as possible, and we'll get right back in it.
We're just gonna have to let them, do their own thing for now and hang out to establish maybe who's gonna get that early game dominance.
I think it's pretty safe to assume that Gaspat did fall.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a Tana right next.
What a tease, though, right?
Yeah.
Just to cut out right there, like the nick of health, and all it was gonna take was that one Bramble Rapture.
We'll see who got the kill and perhaps if any other kills happened. Right now, when we left off, it was 2 early kills for KGB, a single early kill for KGO. Of course, looks like we are back in the game right now, so we can jump back in and see how things are progressing. So it does look like there was actually an additional kill as well. 3 kills so far. That means that Cripsy went down to start, Ease went down right when we cut off, but Nightmare Batman was also taken out at some point, which is pretty good for KGB. They're already up over 1,000 credits.
Yeah, this is definitely super good for them. You know, Zatanna against a Catwoman is going to be fairly rough lane. It could go either way. I think if Catwoman decides to be on the aggressive side and really uses her Acrobat and her Cat's Paw intelligently, that she can do so much damage to Jokers that he can't even out-sustain her.
A lot of it is also how often can Zatanna continually hit the skewer on Catwoman and how agile is Catwoman being.
Right. And I think that having the augmented basic attacks just because of building attack damage is going to help her out that way. That she has more offensive capabilities.
Uh-oh, E's taking a lot of damage there. KGB being extremely relentless here. You know, one thing that's interesting in this is that we're not seeing a dual lane versus a dual lane. We're seeing the bottom being a 1-on-2 with KGB being the one-man down, and the top being a 1-on-2 with KGO being the one-man down. And the question is, which kind of lane that has 2 people is going to do a stronger job of bossing around the other team? Although we do have Doomsday here. Drool is looking to come in. No, it doesn't want to come in on Cyborg and Poison Ivy. That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, he didn't have a good position for that, and they were very responsive. And immediately showed out. He barely gets out of that with his bad flight.
Chow is just super aggressive. We've seen a couple times Chow really going in on Ease. Oh, here's Drool's trying to pick up the Taylor Swift, excuse me, trying to pick up the kill. The nice little wall of thorns there, slowing him down a bit, and they still want to go and try to get a kill. Ease is so low. Be careful, Ease. Oh man, if Tom Poison Ivy's Thorn Wall was off cooldown there, that probably would have been a kill.
Both of them are trying to just bait, but
yeah.
I think that they're actually both backing off at this point. Batman, I don't know, I still see him moving around in the minimap.
Cyborg into the wall, pounded in the ground, pops invulnerability to Poison Ivy. Can you save your compatriot? She's trying. Joker hits him with the gun. Doomsday still in hot pursuit. Oh, she blocks the Mr. Punch it. It would have gone into Cripsy. And Cripsy escapes.
That was good support from G's.
Yeah.
I'd definitely put it that way. It's interesting, Genre usually plays a power damage blaster, but he's actually playing Catwoman. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it could be, it was like, well, I think it was that point where their first 2 draft picks were both the marksman, right? And then they're like, okay, who are we going to have Genre be? And we can't do Joker because they already drafted Joker.
Right.
And he's like, well, should I be Green Lantern? Green Lantern's kind of scary. He doesn't have much mobility. It's a little bit hard to play him sometimes. A lot of damage output, but it's easy to get stuck in a bad spot. He's, you know what? I know you already have 2 main attack damage people who are our main source of damage, but let's just do Catwoman.
Her crit is so devastating that even if they build attack armor, she's still going to do a crap ton of damage. So it's definitely a good pick. I think their team comp is unique, but it will definitely work for them. And we've seen KGO take some unexpected champions and just roll with them.
You know, we've seen unexpected champions. I think KGB is the only team that really has been running Batman. It's always been Chow.
It's always been Chow. I think he knows what's up.
And you know, I think it's good to have someone like Chow who says, you know what, I really like playing Batman. And then to say, okay, we don't need to draft your champion early because Batman is not quite as much picked as like a Gas Bat, a Cyborg, a Poison Ivy, a Joker. So they can save him for a later pick, but he's so happy with that. It's not like, oh, we're going to save, Pseudostyle for the later pick, and Pseudostyle's like, wait, but I just played Joker. I mean, he probably plays other things, but so far in this tournament, he's exclusively been Joker, and it's been their first pick every single time he's given him Joker.
Well, and there's a reason for that, probably because he's so good at him.
Yeah.
We've seen some pretty awful Mr. Punchies. Poor enemies have just been getting blasted by that, but I don't actually see GS as Poison Ivy, I think, often, unless I'm going crazy.
Poison Ivy, I think is what he's playing before.
Must just be those thorns,
Yeah, he likes to plant life in some form. Here's Taylor Swift trying to save Ease. Ease swings the other way, actually, and then turns around and runs. He's trying to kite backwards. He's going to go down, though. Takes down Chow, though. Can Taylor Swift get out of here? Taylor Swift is in a little bit of trouble. Doomsday's in pursuit, but here's Genre with the Catwoman's whip.
Zatanna's coming up from the mid lane, so I don't know. That's vastly outnumbered. Taylor Swift does go down, and I think Genre being Catwoman might be able to escape from this, unless they hit her off. Oh, she might be done for.
Zatanna put the dazzle on Catwoman, slowing her down a bit. Doomsday charges her around, slapping the ground, and all of a sudden, Genre is in a lot of trouble as a rabbit form. But wait a minute. Did Genre just escape?
I think that Jules actually ended up kind of helping her with the direction that his charge took her in. I think he was trying to position in such a way that he was going to knock her back, but he just barely missed it. He just basically clipped it, but it looks like that's still good. They bullied her away. They're probably going to get that Pulse Destroyer at the top, pick up that EMP. They've been doing really well with the objectives. They obviously have a few more kills than KGO does, but the credit difference isn't too much yet. He's definitely going for that steal.
Yeah, he wants to try to get the last hit. No, he did not get it. In fact, it was Jules who picked that up, but he's just still going to be a little bit annoying picking at damage where he can. But now with Chow back in the picture, East has got to be careful. We've seen him go down a couple times to that Atomic Poison Ivy Batman pair where they can really lock down the champion, dive in, and dish out a lot of damage.
Seems like Batman does really well with anybody, but you kind of think that Batman should work alone, no?
You would think so.
Unless it's Robin.
Yeah, unless it's Robin or...
Which we haven't seen yet in this tournament.
That's true.
Somebody needs to do some Robin.
We haven't seen much love for Robin or Gas Joker. I'm sure we'll see them a little bit.
Both Zatanna and Nightmare Batman are actually coming down into the lane, but still outnumbered is KGB, so they've got to play a little bit on the safe side. Taylor Swift does not yet have his ultimate, but we have no idea how close he is to it. Killing those drones might get him that level 6.
You know, at the top lane, though, there's a lot of pressure coming in from KGB. There's no one to defend this turret. KGO is giving that up, but they're going to go ahead and try to take this bottom turret. That should go down as well. Joke is trying to clear the drones, and often, you know, if your turret's being pushed, if you can clear the drones fast, your turret will instantly go for the enemy champions. You might be able to pick up a kill. They're ramming on Cripsy, making sure the turret got a shot up on G's, but not enough damage from Jokas alone to actually get a kill there.
It was a good play, but with Taylor Swift coming in, she was in pretty big danger.
Able to stay alive, though, which is the most important part, but had to abandon that middle lane, which means Genre can push this, but uh-oh, Genre could be in trouble. 4 members from KGB all converging, and there's, I don't see, oh, Genre's in a world of pain. Here's Doomsday pushing her back. Batman, how many does it take to take out one Catwoman? Wait a minute. Is this the second amazing escape Genre's pulled off?
The Punish did actually not get the finishing blow. I was pretty convinced that was going to happen. Wow. 1v4. See, that's Catwoman. Catwoman is like female Flash, I swear. She pops her ultimate and she can use that E every like 1 second, maybe even less than that. I don't even think
she used her ultimate there.
She didn't?
No, she didn't need it.
Oh my
goodness. She was so fast. She's like, you know what? I'm all good without it.
She popped her. She doesn't even have super speed?
No.
What is this, real life?
Catwoman is so fast, but the middle lane does go down for KGO. Uh-oh, Drill's in a little bit of pain. Zatanna puts a shield on Taylor Swift. Lockdown. Gets a present from the Joker. That's not the type you like Kiofa, though. He's going to go down.
Yeah, that bunny is just really devastating. He runs around, and when you're like a giant white bunny, everybody just immediately sees you and focuses you. So not only can you not move or cast any skills, half of your defenses are down, so you just get shredded.
I mean, that's kind of your natural instinct, right? When you see a bunny, you're like, ah, let's go kill it.
No?
All right.
We have to have a talk after this match.
Here we go. Looks like Ease. You know, KGO, they're having a hard time keeping their champions alive. They're really being caught out a lot of times. I don't think they have the vision they need. We've seen Ease caught out a couple times. We've seen Genre caught out a bunch of times, but Genre somehow escapes anyway. But in Ease's case or Taylor Swift's case, they're not Catwoman, so they have a harder time escaping. And they just don't have enough vision around on the map, I think. They have these 2 surveillance cameras and this one, and that's it.
We're seeing actually a lot of trading for objectives, so if somebody's dying on KGO, we see KGO is actually pushing a lane elsewhere. They just got that middle turret, they've taken out the bottom turret, whereas that's exactly the amount of turrets the KGB has as well, the advantage being that KGB is higher in level. But, you know, see, KGO, just as good as objectives as KGB. However, they are without Gaslight Batman. There's 5 people from KGB converging on them, knowing that the Raider is being done. But I think they might be able to get it in time before they have any interception.
Oh, not quite. He was going to get the finishing kill there. It's KGB that takes the Raider kill. Jules picks up a kill on Taylor Swift. Jeez gets stunned. Jeez goes down as well. And KGO did not get the Raider, and 2 of their champions died. Yes, Gasbat's been able to get some farm from the top lane, but I don't think that was worth it for a Raider kill and 2 champion deaths.
Yeah, I think there might have been a little bit of a mistake.
Oh, there's the EMP. This is going to be a turret kill as well.
Raider into turret kill into what? Did they lost 3 over there?
2.
Really? I thought they lost Catwoman, Nightbat,
Catwoman, I thought escaped.
Oh, of course she did.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Check right here. Yeah, Catwoman hasn't died yet.
So Catwoman escaped, but you know that did mean that she wasn't getting any experience. She wasn't getting any credits because she just had to go back to base and heal. So they might even pick up the second turret. Gaslight Batman is still hardly pushing the top lane. He'll probably be able to get that considering every single person from KGB is pushing bot. But you would think that that would hopefully mitigate their experience in KGO's eyes. Maybe they're just thinking, well, we'll just snowball Gaslight Batman. He'll carry us in the end.
We'll see. I don't know if that'll work, though. I mean, yes, he's getting credits, but the whole team of KGB gets credits for every turret kill.
That's absolutely
and if they
correct.
continue pushing forward, it's going to get worse and worse for KGO.
I think that hopefully after Gaslight Batman takes that top turret, he's going to come back to rejoin KGO, and maybe they're going to get a little overzealous. Terror Swift, who had just picked up that buff, once again, GS goes down. He's not having a fun time, just kind of dead, and you know.
Look at how she kind of lies in the wall. That's pretty cool.
He's a plant, you know.
Yeah.
Just wove himself in there.
Going back into nature. And like you said, we did have Ease go back to help defend. KGB's like, okay, I think we've done enough damage that we want to have. They have this great sensor turret that sees a huge range of vision around the map. Now they're regrouping, and look at this, a big push in the middle lane. Can KGO get there in time?
What is this that they keep doing? I mean, I don't think we've actually seen this before. KGB literally just 5-man bot. Now they're 5-manning mid, and KGO needs to do something about it. They need to all get together because...
Oh, you know what? This is looking pretty good for KGO, though. A great gas bat ultimate puts damage on the whole team. A Taylor ultimate from Taylor Swift locks down. Chow takes him off. Oh, I think that was a very important Joker ultimate. They could have lost a couple more members if they didn't slow pursuit.
I think that was good. I think his intention was to stop people from running through it, and actually, you saw Gaslight Batman immediately turn around. It prevented them from following, and luckily, the Joker ultimate cooldown is not such that it's too much of a waste to use it. It's actually going to be up in just a minute and a half. By the time they're regrouping, I'm sure it'll be only 45 seconds.
We can see Zatanna going pretty power damage heavy, but also I really like the combination of getting the early Avansurs and Dr. Destiny's Dreamstone to really just be the spam spells and build up that will battery for a very, very scary super late game Zatanna.
Catwoman once again able to escape despite the Wall of Thorns being placed on her. I don't know. I think KGO definitely shows potential once they react to what KGB is doing, but they can't let KGB just roam around in a death squad. It just can't happen.
Yeah.
They need to be at the turrets. They need to place cameras around every single turret that they could possibly be going to and immediately respond to it. Like, look, we have Cripsy in the bottom lane right now, and once again, every single person from KGB is in the top lane, and KGO needs to stop them. So Cripsy, look, he's back in. He's immediately going up.
Will he get there in time, though, is the question.
Yes, I think so.
I mean, the turret's still at full life. Is there an EMP? There's no EMP from KGB. I don't see any way they can make this work. They're going to try, though, going straight for this turret, the whole team diving it. But the whole team at KGO is there in response. The turret's dishing out a lot of damage. And KGB takes some punishment.
Yeah, Atomic Poison Ivy used that. Defensive, Secrets of the Forest ultimate. So now that she doesn't have that, and Pseudo Styles is so very low, I'm not sure that they want to continue this. Terror Swift doesn't have his ultimate, but it's going to be up in 5 seconds, and that can cause, immediately locking down anybody there. The Jokers is actually somewhat out of position, but they can't tell because they don't have a camera in where Jokers is right now.
Yeah, and this could be I think what they're realizing is, okay, KGO is starting to react to our five-person pushes. What if we all push one and they all react, but then Jokers, we're not really pushing 5 anymore. It's Jokers. It's kind of a bluff. They're like, we're going to switch mid. Just kidding. Jokers is here staying up top to push that top turret.
It's working.
Yeah, it's working. And the rest of the team is still putting a presence in the mid.
Wow. Really excellent plays by KGB. So much control. A little bit of a delayed ult on Taylor Swift, but yet she might go down. Was that the best target to try to go for the tank? I don't know. They did end up picking it up, but Taylor Swift goes down to the Batman.
Oh, Pseudostyle, though, could be in trouble. Genre in hot pursuit with Catwoman. She gets the whip strike off. Child very low as well. Child goes down. Can Genre escape? Catwoman cannot die. She has 9 lives, but she only needs 1 because still 0 deaths from Genre. Even though overall KGB has been getting a lot of kills.
Yeah, it's really rough. Taylor Swift being 3 and 5 is not a poor score. It's because he's been trying really hard to initiate and lock that person down, and he is the only person that can really get in there first without instantly blowing up because he's locking somebody down. But the moment he gets on there and starts chopping somebody, he's vulnerable. So that's really the reason why he's basically acting as like an assassin tank, which those don't usually go together.
Well, it works for a Nightmare Bat.
He's doing well. He's setting up those kills for his team. It seems that usually when those kills start rolling out, it's because Nightmare Batman is chosen to target, and then his team follows up.
And that's what we've seen a lot from Nightmare Batmans in this tournament. Really not going for the classic mass damage assassin approach, but instead saying, okay, maybe a little bit of damage early, but then just getting mostly durability and using the ultimate as an initiator. And then I know once I do that, I can be very, very vulnerable. So what I need to do is I need to basically get as many tanky items as possible. It looks like we do have another internet issue here, so we're going to try to jump right back into game. As soon as we can get this thing resolved, I think we just have to reconnect to the match in just a second.
Yeah, at this point, it seems like KGO and KGB are actually pretty freaking close, and I'm pleased by that. I'm pleased that it's not a stomp on either side because it shows that they must be somewhat equivalent in terms of skill. The thing that KGB has the advantage of is they're, in terms of grouping, literally all getting together, just jumping right in and forcing somebody from KGO to instantly die. And in that regard, you know, they haven't used that many cooldowns, and they basically force a 4v5, or somebody isn't even there from KGO because KGB, you wouldn't really expect somebody to just travel around in a gang squad because you would think, well, they don't want to leave their lanes undefended. But if they're just stomping down a single lane, then it doesn't matter if their lanes are defended.
I mean, it's a trade, right? Because they might lose a turret, but they're going to kill...
but they can't even because, like, they can't defend. KGO can't defend against the 5 of them. So, like, they might lose a turret, but they're going to get 2 turrets for 1.
And that's a good trade. Plus, they're probably gonna they've been getting a couple kills as well. So it's been working out really well for KGB so far. Of course, the game is still very, very close. The credit difference is, I think, only about 7,000 or so.
Yeah.
At least when we left the game, we'll have to see how it stands as we get back into it.
And 7,000 being spread over multiple champions isn't necessarily the end of the world, but you know, having Cyborg and Gaslight Batman on that one side might really help them. But something that we did tend to notice was the attack damage going on over there. So maybe that's also stopping them from instantly blowing somebody up, because attack damage is usually, you know, kind of damage over time, whereas somebody that's a blaster does damage with their skills, and it happens a lot more quickly. So not having that presence, just having Poison Ivy, who's probably more focused on trying to keep her team alive than killing the other team, is really difficult for them, I think, to pull focus on a single target and just eliminate them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're going to try to get back in the game as soon as possible. We're going to take a quick break to try to get everything fixed up. But don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Infinite Crisis. Alright guys, so here we are able to get back in the game. Let's see how things have progressed over the last couple minutes here. The credit difference, actually, wait a minute. In fact, KGO, if they turn things around, to kill to death is now in their favor. They've actually gone ahead in credits. So we missed a little bit of the beginnings of what could be a comeback. I mean, it was a pretty neck and neck match before, but now, you know, before you could just say KGB was a little ahead, now it looks like KGO has a very slight advantage.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting, and I'm really bummed that we didn't get to see that actually pan out, but this is exactly what we were saying. KGO knows what they're doing. They went up, tried to get that Pulse Destroyer, but Doomsday had just gotten it over there. Jules was right on top of that. So at this point, we take a look at KGO's turrets. They've got 4 left, mostly in the middle lane, but it seems like they've pushed KGB's middle lane all the way back to the dampener right here.
Yeah, they've been able to do a lot of damage. KGB is trying to get both those EMP drone kills. Looks like they're able to accomplish it with Batman, played by Chow, taking the bottom one. Now they're heading back up top, but you know, there's a lot of vision from KGO. They're going to notice the second anytime KGB tries to make a move.
So once again, it looks like KGB is going for that 5-man strategy, heading for that bottom dampener. You can see that it's being pinged by KGO. They know that that plan is happening. They were pinging this. I think they might have been making an attempt for the Leviathan, or at least considering it. But now they know that they've got to go back. That's something that they've been doing. All of them immediately recalling. So here they are, going to be hanging out. Hopefully try to get them to do something under the dampener. But let's take a look and see if anybody have picked up that EMP.
I don't know if they picked it up yet. I know they got a double EMP, but I don't think they've quite picked it up. Nope. No one's wanted to go back to base. They're still looking for an opportunity. They could go on in on this middle turret, but KGO, okay, genre is there. No, there's too many there without EMP. It's a little bit scary to commit.
I think that if Pseudo-Style just does some repetitive poking, they might be able to come out on top of this. They have the sustain from Poison Ivy on KGO, though, so it's kind of one or the other.
Genre has some good poking too. I mean, that's just a Catwoman with a level 2 Joe's Chill, Max Coda Blade, and a fairly stacked Soul Taker Katana. I mean, Genre hasn't died yet. So that Soul Taker Katana has got to be maxed out with its credit collection.
KGO is actually benefiting fairly well from this surveillance tower, but it might also be hurting them in the sense that they've placed this here and they've destroyed the camera here, but you can still see that there's actually a bunch of vision still there by KGB. So there's a lot of vision trading going on. KGO is actually going to activate this phase pod. I don't know if they want to do this. See, they might not actually know that Chow is no longer with them, so yep, they activated it, but they're not going for it. They might just be trying to beat it.
No, Taylor Swift, think about it. He's sharking around. The whole team is kind of just lurking in the shadows right there.
This would be a great time to have an X-ray vision to make sure that the place you're in has not been revealed.
Yeah, because the camera there would have ruined your day. And oh, they're still not revealed. They're going to ambush. Pseudo-Style gets knocked by Poison Ivy. They're all going in on him. they're totally ignoring Yechi to correct call. Pseudostyle goes down in a matter of seconds. And this is what you have. You have so much attack damage burst on a team. They can just annihilate a roster in a matter of seconds.
That was really excellent, and it was also vastly attributed to the fact that it was a 3v5
Surprise.
essentially. Right?
Yeah.
So they were hanging on that stealth pad. It was perfect positioning. They knew, or at least could guess very well, that the area that they were in wasn't revealed to the enemy team. So they were trying to make sure that, you know, Leviathan wasn't being taken, or maybe they were thinking about making some sort of counterplay. But challenge weren't there, and that was a perfect knock-up from GS onto Poison Ivy. So it's kind of, you know, it was good play by KGO, and obviously we're seeing a lot of strength from them. It's at first it seemed like KGB might have been taking it, but KGO is definitely not letting that go easily.
They're
so
backing
we'll
away though, saying, you know what, let's not try to push the issue. We don't have an EMP ready. KGB, in fact, still has that double EMP they could use whenever they want. We do have Taylor Swift kind of pushing the top lane a bit. Now it's time to go back in the jungle, pick up some drops. What's G's up to in the bottom there? Oh, G's just going back home to get some extra items, probably.
Probably a little, just trying to be safe a little bit. So actually, Jace has decided to go a little bit more on the power damage route. Does have some will from the Evan Sirs, but other than that, he's gone for Cosmic Belt for the penetration. And, you know, they do need a little bit of that first. She's probably got plenty of support in terms of, like, you know, the best the best defense is a good offense, right? So that's kind of what they're going for.
It looks like all 5 from KGB are here. KGO will soon have 5 as Taylor Swift is heading into the action. That mid turret for KGO is very low, but they're actually going to be fighting in front of that. A little bit of harass there from Yechi with the Town Poison Ivy.
Yeah, they're, so a little bit preemptive on that Secret to the Forest. Unless they decide to go in, they do end up using the Bramble Rapture.
Getting this ambush by the whole team. Crypsy goes down instantly.
Yeah, that was a pretty big explosion, and that was a really good bunny by Zatanna onto Genre, but does pop Bad Kitty, tries to get away, charged across the entire map by Doomsday, ends up going down. Here we go again. Taylor Swift actually does end up escaping. The EMP usage on that turret did allow them to take it out. KGB is suffering very many casualties. I don't think that Batman will be able to escape this. Nightmare Batman is pretty quick. Ease might have that bat flight. There we go. Basic attack. Oh, but that was a really good invulnerability. Goes in, almost picks up the kill on Taylor Swift, but does end up going down. Utter annihilation on KGB.
You know, I feel like KGB had a great initiation there, but one of the problems they had is, yeah, they took out Crypsy instantly, but taking out, oh, we got the Cyborg, gets most of their attack damage. Well, there's also a Catwoman who's pure attack damage building, and you also have Gas Bat. So they were able to take out Crypsy. You're like, okay, then we're going to take out Catwoman, but then they had nothing left for Gas Bat, and Ease just kind of picked up, cleaned the house, you know, when they had used pretty much all their skills off the bat, taking out the Catwoman and Cyborg.
That's exactly right. And, you know, with the death timers on KGB, KGO decided to push their advantage. They got that Raider. They have the surveillance tower as well. So now they're doing pretty well for themselves. The Leviathan is still untouched. It was mostly used as a baiting tool for KGO. We might see them make a similar play, but I think KGB might be on top of that, seeing as they fell quite victim to that last time. It's more and more getting into be KGO's favor. So this is actually the most back and forth match I think that we've seen thus far, and we expect nothing less because this is for a spot in a $25,000 tournament at PAX East. I just can't speak today. It's the Axe. You know what? Your name shouldn't be Axelav because it's so easy to mess up.
PAX, right?
Yeah, PAX Axe, you know, PAX blah blah blah.
And you know that's a good point because the winner of this match is guaranteed a top 2 finish in this qualifier, which means they're guaranteed an all expenses paid trip. The loser still can make it in, but it's going to be on the verge of elimination and will be in a must-win situation in the lower bracket.
So right now we see KGB doing some aggressive positioning, not having a lot of cameras set up. This is pretty tricky. And actually Batman Prime is not even there with them. Does he have a teleport? No teleport on Bat Prime, so it's really risky for them to be flirting around here. Every single person. Ease does end up catching Pseudo-Styles out. So that's not good for the Joker. Now they're actually pinging Leviathan, deciding to go for it. Poison Ivy going down for the solo defense in the bot lane against Batman. I don't think KGB can do anything to stop this.
No. I mean, there's just too much damage output. They don't have pseudo-style. Joker has such good zoning skills. That you have Tom Poison Ivy, but without really being a zone out the champs of KGO, they can't approach that.
Blue Legion actually stole it. There was a perfect skewer from Jokas onto the Leviathan. Now, they stole the credits, but the buff still went in. Taylor Swift and Crypsy did pick them up, but that was an amazing steal by Jokas on that Leviathan. Perfectly timed. I
mean, and it's looked like it's been going really well for KGO, but the credit difference is still really, really tight. And a lot of it could be that Leviathan kill is a pretty big deal that KGB was able to steal that Uh-oh, Chow looks like he might be in trouble. Taylor Swift converging from behind. Oh! Barely gets back in time. There's no way he would have made it out of that one with Poison Ivy converging on him as well at that point.
Yep. No, she's just going back, hanging out, and defending. They don't really need to make an aggressive play just yet. You know, the buffs will persist up until they die or when they lose them, and which, you know, other people can pick them up. But it's really good for them. You know, despite the fact that KGB stole that Leviathan, they only took the credits. They took credit for the actual kill of the Leviathan, so they got the team credits for that, but they didn't pick up the buffs, and the buffs is probably what the thing is that they were going.
Yeah, the biggest thing. Of course, the 2 buffs the Leviathan drops. It drops 1 that's just a massive team shield. Any teammates near you, when you throw it down, get this. Basically, it's they all get invulnerability. It's like an extra stolen power. And then, of course, the other one is a mass stasis. Anyone near you, you can stasis them out. You can lock down part of the team, kill the rest. You can lock down the whole team, take out a turret. It's a really, really, really strong objective you can try to control.
So KGO is setting up against a push from KGB. They do have an EMP. I'm not sure if it's tier 2 or not. I guess
I think it's tier 2.
It definitely could be, but do you think they really want to go in on them? Seeing just sheer offense from KGO.
They don't think so. They're backing away. They've thought better of this plan. Although Chow is Chow in danger. He's a little bit dragging behind. No, he does escape. He was kind of just keeping an eye on things.
Yeah, so they're placing a camera there. I believe Ease actually saw it. He pinged on the location right where it is. I'm kind of thinking to myself, so KGB has been 5-manning, and it's really worked out for them through the early and the mid game. And now it's failing, and I have a minor theory why, and I think it's because by 5-man grouping, they're now forcing KGO to 5-man group, and they're stronger in the team fights. They've been coming out on top of the team fights every time. So KGB might need to try a different strategy because this is not working for them. Yep. And this maybe if they continue to do this, might actually end up being the death of them. Something that would have worked mid and early game if they could have pushed their advantage, but they weren't able to.
Taylor Swift goes in deep, but a great stasis there. Now they can position. Are they going to position? Oh, they're timing all their skills right when stasis goes off, and it's just madness. Popping invulnerability and all the chain. Just the other but the Leviathan drops. And just mass damage coming out from KGO. Cripsy with Cyborg, Ease, and Catwoman. It's just way too much damage for KGB to handle.
They even dove in on the squishy people, but that AoE from Cyborg, once he pops his ultimate, is just way too devastating. Catwoman or actually Cyborg, gonna use a basic attack to pick up that kill. Looks like Doomsday almost died to this jungle cam. I don't know what he was thinking. Maybe he was just kind of rampaging by it. Oh, he's swinging around. I don't think Jokers is gonna survive this once again. There we go, the tracer shot from Cyborg, perfectly made. She got pancaked. This is true. I think this dampener might go down, and they might even deal some severe ones at the top lane with Taylor Swift pushing that. I mean, look at the respawn timers. It's really rough for KGB.
I mean, yeah, we're getting to the point in the game where you can't afford to just keep dropping these team fights time after time. The credit difference is getting bigger. The middle dampener is gone. KGO looks like they want to swing to the top, and they can take out another dampener. Poison Ivy did fall in that battle, but now Jeez is back, heading across the map. I think they're just going to try to take this dampener and then back away and wait for Jeez.
That's likely what is going to happen. We did get rules to, you know, try to charge somebody into the wall, but Taylor Swift just uses stealth, gets away. Cripsy slowed by the wall of thorns.
Cripsy.
Scramble Rapture going down. Oh, to the Joker punchy, and then inevitably the Doomsday basic attack. No
Feel my pain.
yeah. That
says Doomsday as he crushes Cripsy into the ground. A nice little pickup for KGB, but they're still down with 2 dampeners broken. Every single lane is being pushed right now from KGO, and KGO's regrouping. And are they going to strike again sooner, or are they going to wait for Cripsy to come back before they make another move?
Well, looks like they're actually getting this Raider, and they're probably going to go back. They have some ample time to, you know, pick up some things. And we look at the builds that we have going on over here too. All of the slots are pretty much taken up, with the exception of Drools, who likely sold, you know, a health pack to be able to complete another item. But look at this: 4 atomic axes, despite the fact that you know. But this is exactly what we were saying. They are all the attack damage ones, so they're like, you know what? If they're trying to build some armor against us, we're not going to let it happen, and that definitely is helpful. We see the Metallus Heart over here. We see the Suit of Sorrows, which did end up getting built. And, of course, not the Speed Force battery, but the Fragment of Mogo was... Oh my gosh, you can see all of the armor that Batman was trying to build. Claw of Horus, Claw of Horus, Fragment of Mogo, Suit of Sorrows. Not that good when you have the Atomic Axe, 35% attack penetration, and that actually the flat penetration that you might have from something else comes added after. So I think that in terms of pure strength and potential, that penetration is a stronger stat than armor is.
I mean... It is also true that the more you penetrate, the more damage will be reflected onto you, I guess, from Pseudosaurus. But that's kind of a small consolation because you're still taking a lot. It looks like Doomsday's going Pseudosaurus as well, so that's kind of their late game plan, is to try to reflect some more of the damage back. I really like the Speed Force Battery in Doomsday. I think that's a cool item for him. It really helps them utilize that charge a little bit easier because you don't want to charge someone away from your team, but if you can blink on the other side of them using the Speed Force, then you can charge him back into your team and pick him off.
Absolutely. You know, we can't actually call out who individually is doing really well on the KGO side either, because when you look at their ratios, they're all doing so excellently. I mean, we saw Taylor Swift was having trouble in the beginning. I think it was 3 and 5 the last time we commented on it, but he's 5-5-14. He's been there for every fight, and he's got just as many kills as deaths, so he's doing excellently. Obviously, Cripsy, Genre, and E's putting out so much damage, and G's has just been phenomenally supporting. It's been tough for KGB because it's not even that they've had a lack of, you know, team synergy once they get into a team fight, but they've just not even been together except for when they're doing their 5-man pushes. They keep getting caught out. And look, here they are again. There's 3 in the middle. Luckily for KGB, the whole team wasn't there because if Taylor Swift ulted somebody, it would have gone down. But they're going for this final dampener, and if they pick this up, there's going to be probably no hope for KGB.
So do they have an EMP? Yes, they do. Jeez has the EMP, dropping EMP, another guy going on the dampener, but there comes initiation from Chow. The entire KGB roster dives in, takes out E's really quick, he takes out Jeez. And this is the weakness of not having someone up front who can crowd control too well, is you can't get dived on.
Yeah, but it looks like it might
look at that. Into the wall goes Cyborg, but he's going to get away.
So 2 people did go down from KGO, but Chow did go down as well. Now they can't go back in time to heal. It looks like they're still going to stick around and try to get this dampener. How much damage is that going to do? Oh my gosh.
If Zatanna hit the combo, I think Cripsy might have gone down. And now it's Pseudo style. We talked about his Mr. Punchies. One of them took off half the life of Catwoman. Again, going after Taylor Swift. And look at KGO. They had Cripsy, Taylor Swift, and Genre just barely escaped with their lives there. But I mean, close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. Infinite Crisis. If you stay alive, you can go back and heal right back up.
Yeah, but in terms of dampeners, dealing damage to the dampener is a persistent thing. Now it's just going to be so easy for them to get back there. They don't even need an EMP to be able to take that out. They just need a few coordinated basic attacks from Cripsy and from Ease. So they just need to wait. He's coming back up in a few seconds. They'll be able to regroup, but you know, look at the respawn timers coming up on here.
Yeah, they're coming back up, and I think that engagement was a sign. You know, we were kind of saying, okay, with all the items, the atomic axes, the insane items that all these attack damage champions have from KGO, they're just tearing through KGB's roster just too fast. But that last engagement showed that KGB actually, the roster can fight a team fight because they won that team fight. Yes, they only picked up 2 kills. They fell a little bit short on a couple, but the way they initiated and the way they just took out the key members of KGO very fast really shows that their composition can work too.
So this Leviathan has gone down once again. A major amount of credits delegated to everybody on KGO. They're all backing, making sure that their builds are complete as they can be. Or they might be seeing that they can catch somebody out. No. There was some pinging, but it looks like Genre and Taylor Swift are going back. So KGO needs to play this a little bit carefully. They do have the Leviathan buffs now, but without their whole team, they're still not doing it. Oh, so much pinging from both teams.
Eve could be in trouble. Tonic Poison Ivy gets some snares in them, but without the entire KGB roster there, you know, I think if KGB knew that there's only 3 of KGO there, they could have killed these.
So Taylor Swift actually could have teleported in, so they might have been able to hold out a little longer. But
yeah.
Catwoman, Genre does not have a teleport, so she would have needed to do some walking herself. It's good that they ended up backing out. Ease did not decide to get greedy and push on it. So here we go. Now that they have these dampeners back up, but at slightly reduced health than the first time they go down, it's probably going to be fairly easy for them to pick it up, but considering the damage that was dealt to this one, they might want to prioritize that and then just kind of systematically eliminate each other dampener.
So KGO kind of massing in the middle here. Perhaps that's something they're going to push on. Chow for KGB pushed the bot lane back quite a bit, and they have a nice little drone wave there that'll probably continue on all the way to KGO's side unless it's addressed.
He's doing a little bit of
Okay, are they going? Is that the Raider they're going for?
Yep.
Why not?
Yeah, exactly. Why not? If you can, like a cat with wings.
Oh, that's pretty awesome, actually. Of course, that's a Ra's al Ghul robe. The wings on Catwoman signify that the Ra's al Ghul robe cooldown is available. Lazarus' effect will kick in if Catwoman dies, and she'll be resurrected with about 30% life.
Yeah, and it's also pretty obvious too, so it's quite a risk. It does cause people to use all of their skills to kill you, and you do come back, but it's a definitely reduced power. But somebody like Catwoman, who, let's check out what Genre is building, somebody like Genre with, you know, the
mean,
lifesteal from the Soul Taker Katana.
She could heal right back up very quickly.
Exactly. So she's playing it safe and she's playing it
big
right.
Push, and you know, there's no Zatanna for KGB, so this could be the moment KGO could push on a Stamper yet again. Zatanna pushing across the top. Is she coming back to help? No, they're still staying at the top for now. But look at that, into the wall goes G's, and G's falls down. A nice kill from KGB. Even 4 on 5, they're making a pretty decent defense.
Cripsy just basically killed himself on that turret, but the stasis goes down on 3 of KGB. Are they going to be able to escape from this? Taylor Swift actually ends up using the ultimate.
Ease goes down. Cripsy's in full retreat. Genre, this is a Catwoman. She just keeps escaping, but there's a speed pickup by Tom Poison Ivy. Catwoman, you are not going to get away this time. And this is almost an unfortunate waste of Ra's al Ghul's because, I mean, yeah, you come back, you're going to instantly die again. And this was, remember, this was a 4 on 5. They got 3 kills. Zatanna has taken on the top dampener. Wow, this is an amazing comeback from KGB. All of a sudden, they look like they're in control of the game. Yeah, Zatanna's coming to cut off. Oh, Cripsy could be in a world of trouble here. Oh, Jokas. Ooh. Oh, yeah, there's no way. Cripsy's going down. Oh,
that amazing play for the Speed Force battery plate. Yeah. Oh, my God.
It's funny, though, because Jokas didn't expect that, and so Jokas missed a skier that would have killed Cyborg. His Doomsday pushed him out of the way, but either way, a dead Cyborg's a dead Cyborg. Doomsday likes to kill himself. This bottom one is pushed as well. They might get another dampener. G's can try to defend. Chow will escape. And wow, again, can turn around and I see like that. I mean, these teams are so evenly matched.
Yeah, do not let anybody tell you that just because somebody's winning, the enemy team's gonna definitely lose.
Are they overextending?
Yes.
Oh no, Chow goes down. Pseudo-Style looks like he's in a lot of trouble. Jokas goes down. Is Pseudo-Style gonna go away? Taylor Swift is on the pursuit. Joker has a fairly low move speed. He's
teleporting ahead to one of the cameras.
Teleporting ahead, a great move there by Taylor Swift. And who's he going to go for? Maybe he can get a couple kills here.
Oh my God, I love you, Taylor Swift. That was the sneakiest, most amazing thing. I love it. That was so good. And you know what? He was like, Pseudo-Style was like, I'm good. I'm scot-free. They gave up the chase. Suddenly, Nightmare Batman from stealth.
Oh,
wow.
Doomsday. Oh, they're both escaping. Wow.
That was amazing.
That would have been a disaster if actually the whole team got wiped.
So they lost a few, but you know what? Every single dampener has fallen on KGO's side, and there's only one over there. It's so down to the wire. Both of the teams, you know, have a clear sort of advantage. I have to give props for Jules. He really snowballed that entire thing, and it wasn't just the amazing blink kill. He stopped GS, and, you know, he charged him into this wall right here, and that is what snowballed that whole thing.
It really
immediately took him out.
I think KGO relies on GS to keep the team alive. And without, oh, look at that.
Once again, Jules charging somebody into the wall, setting up that Bramble Raptor, perfectly getting that kill.
And look at that, the Speed Force blink being used, charging G's backwards. G's uses the ultimate. Is that enough? Actually, yes, it is. Jules goes down. All of a sudden, top Poison Ivy's in trouble, too.
Yeah, that was
poor
good.
Jules.
It was good. It was an amazing play, but it was a little bit overzealous because
it was a 2-on-3.
there's so much damage that they have going on right here. And Poison Ivy being able to blind him was like, I know you want to do damage, but here, take some 80% reduction. Good plays all around.
Taking a stock of things, I mean, KGO still has a slight credit lead. But at this point, I mean, a lot of them are so close to completing their item sets that in the next maybe 10 minutes or so, the credits won't even, they'll lose some of the meaning. I mean, yeah, it's kind of nice to be able to buy Ra's al Ghul's robe. That when you use the Lazarus effect, you sell it and then buy it back again 4 minutes later because it's not that credit efficient beyond that resurrection.
Right.
But beyond a couple like sneaky moves you can do there, credits start to lose meaning if the game gets to the super late stage, which is starting to hit. I mean, almost all the champions are maxed out level. Well, maybe half them are. The other ones will hit there soon. Oh, no.
Whoa.
If they get caught.
They are going to get caught. They only just started the recall. They know that they're there.
Oh,
immediately
no.
catching them out. Good juke by Ease on the left, but Pseudo-Style might catch him with that punchy. Nope. Decided to go for it.
But, I mean, can he get away? Where's he going to run?
You know what, though? What he's doing right now, even if he dies for this, he's allowing the respawn timer to tick down for G's. So he's, you know what? He's causing them to...
Yeah, they're not even going to go for him. They're like, you know what?
Because they knew that he was trying to, you know, loop them around. So now he's here just kind of like, you know, doing whatever.
Now, this is interesting. So KGB is kind of spread out a bit. They got Zatanna pushing the top lane against Genre. Meanwhile, the rest of the team's pushing the middle. Genre says, wait a minute, why am I running from Zatanna? One-on-one, I should be to take her down. Pops the ultimate. Could Joker's be in trouble? Bunnies Genre. that's a great time to bunny. When Catelyn uses her ultimate, if you bunny her, she can't really gain any benefit from the ultimate. It's almost like a perfect way to counter it.
Yep.
So you kind of just trade ultimates there. No one really gets hurt too badly.
KGO needs to make certain that they're not focusing on Atomic Poison Ivy. As annoying as it's going to be for them to have her Bramble Rapture and her Wall of Thorns, they absolutely need to get the Joker. They need to get Jokas.
But how do you get to that back line with Batman, Doomsday, and Tom Poison Ivy in the front?
Taylor Swift's got to nail that amazing ultimate, and Catwoman's got to do a little bit of flipping around. She used her ultimate really greedily, tried to take out Jokas, you know, in that top lane, but didn't end up being able to secure it. So it's gonna come down to really how well this team fight pans out, and it can go either way. If KGO gets too afraid and they don't use their offense, they're immediately at the disadvantage because their whole entire team relies around aggression.
Yeah, they're much squishier than the KGB roster. The KGB has 3 champions, all building very tanky. If you just bring up the items, you can see via the red and green bars in between the item slots. It's all red bars for KGO. KGB, it's a lot of green bars there, signifying they're really building a lot of protection items.
Yeah, of course, it's actually a really neat feature. You can tell at a glance, not perfectly, but you can just tell in this graph the way that the power is delegated. So much attack damage.
Catwoman's got her wings back though.
Yeah, and you know, Gaslight Batman has like triple wings going on right here with his costume.
Yeah, he's got a costume and the Rob's all ghouls. Zatanna split pushing the top, but the rest of the team kind of postures in the bottom and the middle. She wants to take on that other dampener. I think she's not afraid of trading with G's. Zatanna built a little bit more power damage heavy than G's is right now. G's mostly there to keep the team alive, the way she's been building.
I think Genre needs to be really careful about putting himself out there too much.
Yeah.
He can land the whip on somebody, but one punchy, one Bramble Rapture is going to be the death of him. Taylor Swift almost going in, but getting caught and slowed by the Cat's Paw and the Wall of Thorns. Doesn't want to pursue.
Zatanna was taken out though, and that's
that's probably why that defensive ultimate from Atomic Poison Ivy went off.
Yeah, that's a pretty... They're not scared of it. They're going right back in. They know they have the dampeners down to like 4 and 5. No worries. You guys have to go back to defeat our drones. Take out the third dampener. They're going to immediately retreat because they know that they're fighting 4 and 5. Oh no, pseudo style. Great ultimate from Taylor Swift. Taking out the main source of damage. But there's Doomsday smashing everyone. But I do think this one's going to go to KGO here.
Wow, KGO utterly annihilated them. I think this might actually be the victory. As you can see, 20 seconds on Jokas, but everybody else has a 1-minute respawn timer. They just need to run straight and get one of those dampeners. But you know what? It's really a toss-up.
Turrets by themselves.
Right, it is a toss-up. They do not have
any
drones. EMP.
Yeah, they don't have an EMP. They have no drones to tank. There's no doubt they can easily kill. Oh, yeah, and actually one of them has to stay back. Because they would actually lose to drones.
Yep.
They have no dampeners, just super drones seeing every side.
But you know what? Could at least take out all 3 of the dampeners and even the playing field. I think that with Jokas being up...
I think Jokas can defend the next one. I don't think they'll...
I don't know about that.
You know, I don't know about that either, actually. We'll see. Jokas can try to be as annoying as possible. There's a lot of drones there, too, dishing out damage.
Well, this is
they're going to go in for the power core turrets. There goes one. They're going for it. Taylor Swift takes a lot of damage. Jokas has got to do something. Another power core turret taking a lot of damage. Meanwhile, Cripsy at home is defending from the super drones. The power core is exposed, and wow, you are right. That is the game, and wow, a great set of plays there.
That was incredible. They just went straight for it, and we thought that maybe they weren't going to be able to take out those power core turrets, but look at all that attack damage. Attack damage people are really great at taking down those turrets, and that is exactly what secured them that victory. That was incredible by KGO. I have to say, I was a little bit convinced that KGB might have come out on top of that, but the credit difference is even pretty substantial by the end. 17K, almost full builds with everybody on KGO over here. Looks like Ease was somewhat of the MVP, the only person to break 19K credits, nearly 20K, and 25 assists. He was pretty much there for like every battle.
I think that was because he was never focused first, to be fair.
But you know what? Because who the heck are you supposed to focus when everybody's a powerhouse?
Yeah, they always went for Cripsy first, and then they went for Genre, which I think was the right call because Gaspat isn't quite as damaging as Cyborg, and he has that escape command.
Yeah.
So if you kind of try to kill Gaspat and he bat flights out of there, you just wasted some damage. So they always went for Cripsy first, and they went for Genre, and Gaspat was their last. But like you said, how are you supposed to focus? You ignore Gaspat. Maybe he doesn't do quite as much damage output as Cyborg, but he still does a lot of damage output. It's
interesting to see that really nobody went for Rachel Ghoul's robe on KGB's side, and I wonder if that was somewhat of a factor. There was so much power damage on Jokas, so much on pseudo style, but such little defense, whereas, you know, there was actually a a noticeable amount of defense we had for Poison Ivy and Nightmare Batman. So kind of like a deceptive sort of tankiness. He had the Hawkman's Harness, didn't even get to sell it back at that point in the game. He probably was like just about to, but that was such an amazing close.
It was.
They definitely warranted that spot that they've taken.
Definitely, I think the best game of the tournament so far that we've seen. Really, really back and forth. Kelevra Gaming, both their teams are truly exceptional. But with that amazing win from KGO, that's going to put KGO into grand finals, whereas KGB is going to drop down to the lower bracket, and they're going to be in the lower bracket finals. We'll see who they play coming up later. I think coming up tomorrow is going to be the lower bracket semifinals, Vex against Field Team 6. The winner of that will go up against KGB. The winner of that will be in the grand finals against KGO. So stay tuned, guys. Today was an awesome match. The rest of this week is full of awesome Infinite Crisis matches. So stay tuned to figure out who's going to make it to PAX East. It's going to be KGO, but the second team, Field Team 6, KGB, Vex, we'll find out later this week.